Hi, my name is Nomalanga Mhlauli-Moses with HealthyBlackWoman.com, and this is my good friend Shaquita Graham with Attechco.com and LovingTheBlackMan.com. Today we were just talking about a video that I saw it this morning, and I assume you saw it this morning, Shaquita, and you brought it to my attention, where Jada Pinkett Smith, who had yesterday posted that she wonders if it's time for people to boycott the Oscars, then went and followed up with a video which talks about, she says, took a couple of notes looking at the video, and she talks about black people having a lot of power and influence, and she's calling for black people to stand in that power and influence. And she says, no more begging for love, acknowledgement, and respect from any group. And then finally she says, we must acknowledge ourselves, respect ourselves, before we can ask anybody to do that. And then the last thing she says is, when you beg anybody, any group, to love you, acknowledge you, and respect you, you are lacking in dignity, you're diminishing your dignity. It robs you of your dignity. And she finishes the video by, wishing Chris Rock all the best because he's the one who's going to host the awards, the Academy Awards this year. And she says, I won't be there and I won't be watching. What do you think?
Well, I'm with her. I won't be there and I won't be watching either. No, seriously, I love Jada. I like her demeanor in this video. I like her energy, and I'm glad that she spoke out, even if the timing can seem a little self-serving because of Will. But the bottom line, she asks a question, is it time? And it has been time that, we as black people, we just love and respect and acknowledge ourselves. And she's right as far as the Academy having the right to invite whoever they choose, and that we should begin retracting our resources and using them in the ways that we see fit. And on LovingTheBlackMan.com, I'm talking about this a little bit about someone in what is called Nollywood, which is Nigeria's Hollywood, if you want to say, or their film industry. And it is number 2 in the whole world as far as film. Their revenues were over $3 billion last year, and they made like 1,800 movies. And that's a great example of what we can be doing if we weren't focused on what other people are doing with the awards and all of that. I mean, because again, I hope they don't ever give a black person another Oscar. I hope that no black people are involved in the Oscars at all. Same thing with the NFL, the NBA. I want us to have all of our own things because we're doing them a favor, and I think that we should stop.
Right. I also thought it was interesting that she made the video after the nominations. And obviously she may not have made the video if Will Smith had been one of the people who was nominated. However, what I do credit her with is even before all this, they've been making shows, movies, and being executive producers and giving money to schools, and they've been doing a lot. So we can't say she suddenly wants to do this because he didn't get nominated and she thought he should have. I think maybe that this is just the straw that broke the camel's back, in that it was the very last thing that they just needed to be like, okay, we're done with this. I wonder though if people will actually follow suit, and if this will start a movement, or if it will just be same old, same old. What do you think is going to happen from here on?
It's hard to say because, it's amazing. As many sales as we see go on at the store, you never see as many souls for sale as you see in the black community. People are up for sale for money, for fame, for attention, for whatever. So I don't really know what's going to happen, but I can say that the time is right because technology is allowing us to have better control over our images and over these industries. So there is a African man who launched a new platform that's like Netflix called Attechco TV, and they're doing some very disruptive things in the industry. Then you have Urban Movie Channel, Quayle TV, that's competing with Netflix. So, I think that the technology is making it more possible for us to take more control of our images. And again, when we get involved with things, that's when you see it really bloom. I mean, Black people bring so much to the table in terms of talent and things. So that's why I think what she said, when we start to love and acknowledge and respect ourselves, I mean, that's where our power lies, because we have so much to bring to the table, so much to give. And I think that waiting for someone else who has traditionally stolen every good thing that we bring to the table and exploited it for their benefit, when we stop waiting on them to give us our true, acknowledge our true greatness, then we will be much better off.
Right. Obviously there's questions to be asked about how this will shape up. I remember one year, Viola Davis, who I love to the moon and back, she got an award, and I remember her talking about this whole notion that people keep saying, why don't you Black people just do your own thing? And she said, look, I have a company. I think it was a production company that she said. She says, yeah, we do have it, but sometimes it really is hard. You do have to go to Hollywood to make the paycheck in order to be able to finance your little production company, because honestly, it's easier said than done. And I respect her for saying that, because she's saying we're trying, okay? It just may not be as easy as you think it is. And I have to take into consideration what she said, because she's another person who's always been vocal, as chocolate as she is. She obviously has gone through a lot in terms of how she's perceived and who thinks she's beautiful, who thinks she's not, and how she's being treated in Hollywood. So she's been quite vocal, and she's done it with such grace and dignity. And I also think that Jada Pinkett Smith also spoke with a lot of grace and a lot of dignity. The last thing I want to say is, on a personal level, as a person, I constantly say, this is why I don't have a job, a quote unquote job, because I felt like if I can't be here and you can treat me with the same level of respect and dignity that you treat everybody else with, then I can't be here. Again, not to make it all about me, my kids are not in school, and it was the same conversation of, if they're here and you can't treat them with the level of respect and dignity that they should be treated with, I'm taking them out. And I would like to think that if I was in Hollywood or if I was in that industry, I would have the same reaction as Jada Pinkett Smith of, I've been here, I've worked hard, I've done everything, but this is the last straw. If you can't respect me, love me, and acknowledge me like everybody else, and you want to treat me like an outcast, then I just won't be here. I won't watch, and I'm done with it. What do you think?
Right. I mean, to go back to what you said about Viola Davis and even your comments about the decisions you made, I mean, that's another reason for Attechco.com. It's us taking ownership of teaching our kids technology, using imagery that they can relate to, and no, it's not easy to start your own business and to have your own thing, but that's the responsibility that comes with being the boss and calling the shots. So is it easy? Nothing is. But perhaps there's ways to collaborate, again, using technology, using the lower cost of film equipment and things like that, and using the unparalleled talent that we have as Black people. I mean, you not only have Nollywood, but you have Gollywood, which is Ghana's film industry, and, the collaborations with our people. We need to look at that, because there's no way that you're ever going to collaborate with those in the dominant society and they portray you on the same level that they portray their own people, and you really can't expect them to. So, which one is more difficult, to keep getting awards for being a maid, for being a slave, or to get out here and try to find a way or make one?
Absolutely. I think the final thing that we can say about this is, it may be hard to start. You may start small. It may not be much in the beginning, but better to start now than to keep going somewhere where you're not treated right and hoping to be treated right. Rather start small or slow or whatever it is, but better start now. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. And we need to value our intellectual property. We need to value it. It's very valuable. It's the largest import and export we have in the United States. entertainment, music, sports.
Right.
Everybody else values it.
Absolutely. Okay, so I just want to say thank you to you, Shaquita, for having this conversation with me. And again, this is Shaquita Graham from Attechco.com and lovingtheblackman.com. My name is Nomalanga Mhlauli-Moses. I am the founder of the blogs Healthy Black Woman and SuccessfulBlackWoman.com. So check us both out, and thank you for watching.
Absolutely.